Welcome to the Natural Health Show with one of New England's leading holistic specialists, Mark Mincola. Call Mark at 617-822-1969 on 96.9 Boston Talks.
Greetings and welcome, Natural Health Nation. Great to have you back on board. Nice to be with you here on 96.9 Boston Talks. I know Candida feels the same way about that. How are you?
I'm so excited.
Great to be with you.
Got to get Jimmy off of those Cracker Jacks.
That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen.
We love you, Jimmy.
We love you, Jim, wherever you are out there, cracker jacking on the way out. No doubt. Hey, you know, this is clearly the time of year where there's an awful lot of folks that are really concerned about getting a little too much of the sun. And, of course, those of us who have kids are really, in many cases, extra cautious about covering them up and getting the hats on them and the umbrellas over them. And, you know, I think that there's an awful lot to be said about certainly protecting yourself from sunburn and damages, et cetera. But are we really getting the full story? You know, we're getting the complete story as far as, you know, the vitamin D component here. You know, vitamin D, of course, influences virtually every major health property in our body. Over 2,000 genes in our body are affected by vitamin D. And, of course, recent studies have shown that vitamin D deficiency is associated with bone disease and over 16 different cancers, MS, Parkinson's, hypertension, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, asthma, heart disease, depression, etc. So, you know, there's no vitamin more studied of late than vitamin D. And there's absolutely no doubt about the fact that we're getting very clear clinical indications that vitamin D is essential for all these health factors. Now, a recent study just deciphered that 70% of our children are vitamin D deficient.
Wow.
So there's an awful lot of experts.
How many hours do you have to spend in the sun?
You don't need much. You only need 10 to 15 minutes of indirect sunlight. But, you know, think about...
And you're deficient?
That's it. Well, think
That's
about
scary.
think about the culture that they represent.
That's true.
They represent a subculture that is indoors, that is behind computers, video games. Unfortunately, they're getting, when they do go to the beach, they're getting completely covered to the extent where they're absolutely receiving no background sunlight when they're out there. So, you know, a lot of these very potentially dangerous forms of sunblock, which we're going to talk a little bit more about too, are really, I think, increasing all kind of risk factors as well. But the key here, folks, is we got to get these kids vitamin D, 70% deficient. And when you think about, again, bone disease, 16 different cancers, MS, Parkinson's, again, the most well-studied vitamin of all, they're not getting it.
Right.
Incredible.
So even though the children are outside, because you put all the sunblock on them, they're still not getting the vitamin D.
Well, I think that's the key, is that a lot of this, you know, sunblock, a recent study that I read says that sunblock is blocking their absorption of vitamin D 99.9%. 99.9%.
So what's the safest way to do it?
Well, we're going to talk about
dusk?
that. We're going to let everybody know that. And, of course, folks interested in this particular issue or virtually any health-related issue, natural health issues, vitamins, diet, weight loss, etc., they can call us at 617-822-1969 or Verizon Wireless users. It is a toll-free call. Just dial pound 969. So, indeed, we're going to be talking about this issue. We're going to be talking about a lot of different health-related issues in the future, of course, similar issues. But I think this is one that right now is important. July 7th, July 18th, folks are out there on the beach, etc., and everybody's lathering that stuff on the kids. And, you know, there's a dietary component to this as well. A lot of folks, of course, aren't going to get their kids to eat sardines, but you can bet that there's an awful lot of folks out there that would love the information in terms of the best advice about covering them up, the safest ways to cover them up, the natural ways to cover them up so that they're not getting wiped out of that vitamin D. Very, very important stuff. Of course, there is a supplement form of vitamin D as well. It's pretty important to consider as well. A lot of kids, of course, are getting more and more familiar with like the Nordic Naturals products. We talk about them all the time. Nordic Naturals makes a number of different really tasty fish oil products because they disguise them with all sorts of fruit flavors, etc.
Yep.
And there's chewables, and of course we talk about Jarrow formulas. They make the chewable DHAs and all that stuff. So there's more and more vitamin companies out there that are getting hip to this stuff, and they're getting ahead of that curve and creating options so that moms and dads can get these kids a little bit of tasty vitamin D in a safe supplemental form. because certainly the research is indicating that they're in big trouble. Again, 70% of them are vitamin D deficient. And again, they're indoor creatures. As we said, they're automated creatures. They're computer creatures. They're of a different subculture than we all were when we were kids playing, playing wiffle ball out in the backyard all day long. So big.
And later on, actually, Joanna Silverman will be on talking about processed foods and how you could get your kids to eat some of those healthier choices.
Boy,
so
that was good timing. Now, how did you align that timing like that? Jeez,
we're in sync.
You're like Karnak, it's great stuff. Hey, we're going to take a short little break. We'll be back with you regarding health-related issues. You got those issues. You call us. We got answers for your questions. 617-822-1969. And again, Verizon Wireless users, we got a toll-free call for you. It's just pound 969. And of course, we are the Natural Health Show. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
So, what's new for insiders?
Submit your story telling us why your son or daughter's sports team deserves a post-game snack from Panera, and you could win a $50 gift card to Panera Bread.
Plug in, boot up, log on, online, on demand, 969bostontalks.com.
When most people hear the word allergies, they think only of hay fever-like symptoms associated with airborne pollen, dust, and mold. But did you know that many experts estimate that between 60 and 80 million of us suffer from immune-related food allergies without even knowing it? Furthermore, food allergies often contribute to serious health problems such as autism, irritable bowel syndrome, ADD, headaches, and chronic ear infections. Now, there's an effective way to identify and eliminate both your food allergies and the troubling symptoms that they aggravate. Allotest Medical Labs at foodallergy.com offers a full complement of clinical, environmental, and food allergy testing to help you get to the root of your allergy problems. Allotest also provides you with a comprehensive rotation diet, lifestyle booklet, and a wallet card to help you live food allergy-free and stress-free. Do you wonder if you or your loved ones are among the 60 to 80 million food allergy sufferers in America? If so, log on to Allotest Medical Labs, foodallergy.com. Talk to your doctor about ordering a food allergy test from Allotest Medical Labs today. Foodallergy.com. Make sure the food you're eating isn't what's depleting you. For more than 18 years, Personal Best Karate has been teaching character education, physical fitness, and self-defense skills to people of all ages. Led by 3-time world karate champion Chris Rappold and his highly trained and motivated staff, you're sure to find a one-of-a-kind program that is just right for you and your family. Learn firsthand how Personal Best Karate can transform your life by giving their new amazing introductory offer a try. Now for only $19.95, you'll receive 2 private lessons and an official Personal Best Karate uniform. You'll immediately see just how easy it is to improve your self-confidence, your mental focus, and your health and fitness. The helpful staff at Personal Best Karate will arrange a convenient schedule, design an affordable program to help you achieve your personal best goals. That's Personal Best Karate with locations in Easton, Foxborough, Norton, and Norwood. Check them out on the World Wide Web at personalbestkarate.com or call them at 508-285-5425. Manifest your best at Personal Best Karate.
Here's Dr. Dave David, 2-time recipient of the Patient's Choice Award.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave David, Medical Director of Medical Face and Body Aesthetics. You may recognize me from my many appearances on national TV with various celebrities or on CNN or Fox News Channel. I specialize in the Vaser lipo procedure that gently removes fat utilizing ultrasound. Vaser is a modern-day liposuction not requiring general anesthesia and with very little risk, discomfort, or recovery time, and with terrific results. It's not the old smart lipo, it's Vaser. Now, my patients come to me from all over the country, and they include other physicians, people in the entertainment industry, and figures from Boston's professional sports teams. Inside my private office, my warm and caring staff of Debbie and Vanessa give you very personalized attention, and our patients are very special to us. So if you have fat in your abdomen, love handles, legs, buttocks, arms, chest, or neck, and chin, go to the doc with the most experience. The consultation is free, so call me at 1-866-DOCTOR-YOUTH or visit medfacebody.com. Again, 1-866-DOCTOR-YOUTH or visit medfacebody.com. So let's get you looking terrific. I'm Dr. David.
Financing is available. Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
All right, Fran from Randolph, you're on the Natural Health Show, 96.9 Boston Talks. Welcome.
Thank you, Mark. I have a couple of short questions for you.
Sure.
Some time ago, you discussed magnesium citrate.
That's right.
And lecithin. And I've been on that. I've been taking 1 teaspoon of the magnesium and 1 tablespoon of the lecithin. Now, can I increase that?
Yeah, you sure can. I mean, the maximum dose of the natural calm, which is the type of magnesium citrate you're talking about, it's a magnesium powder. It's very absorbable. It's called natural calm. You're taking 1 teaspoon now. You can go up to 3 teaspoons. Here's the key. You want to basically keep in mind that if you're overdosing on on magnesium, you're going to basically have loose stools. So you continue to go up by 1 teaspoon at a time and let your abdomen know whether things are going all right. If your stomach is settled and your bowels are stable, you're in good shape. But you can go up to 3 teaspoons. As far as the lecithin goes, you're using the granules.
Yes.
Okay, so the granules you can go as high as 2 tablespoons 3 times a day. So you're just getting started there. I'd go up by another tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons a day.
And that's 3 times a day.
Yeah, 1 or 2 tablespoons 3 times a day max. Yep.
Now, my other question is, I have a lot of degeneration on my spine.
Yep.
I've been to neurologists, neurosurgeons, and I'm not a good candidate for an operation.
Okay.
And what they prescribe for, I have nerve pain, is Neurontin, and I'm sort of afraid to take that. And I was wondering if there's anything other than that would help nerve pain.
Well, there's a couple things. There's a homeopathic called Hypericum, Hypericum, Hypericum. I would suggest that you get a 30x potency of Hypericum and take it as directed. Again, that's Hypericum, Hypericum. Also, I think Jarrow Formulas makes a really good concentrated B12. It's a methyl, methyl B12. That's 5,000 micrograms. I would recommend one of those a day as well.
And that's a good thing to take.
Indeed it is, yep.
Well, I'm going to give that a shot.
All right, good luck.
Now, Fran, before you go off of the Neurontin, you should definitely talk with your doctor, because I know that it has some side effects if you just stop.
Right, I believe she said that she already discussed that with him. Did you not?
All my doctors tell me to take it, and I am so, uncomfortable with taking something like that.
Well, you certainly want to work with him in terms of clearing yourself. I thought you already discussed that with him. You certainly want to make sure that you do bring him in on the loop and make sure that you're huddled in with him on this stuff.
Okay.
Don't just stop taking it. There's a process for that.
Okay. Well, thanks for your help.
Take care of yourself. You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Once again, our numbers here on the Natural Health Show, of course, you've got 2 options. It depends kind of on where you're living out there, folks. Boston, New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users, it is a toll-free call. Just dial pound 969. We are the Natural Health Show. We're here to answer those questions of yours. We've got VJ on the phone from Natick. Welcome to 96.9 Boston. Talk to you on the Natural Health Show.
Thanks for taking my call. I had called a couple of weeks back regarding chronic acne.
Yes.
And you had suggested I take zinc gluconate and vitamin A. And you also suggested that I take a Jarrow formula, which somehow I missed the name of that. And the follow-up question to that is, recently I've been developing a white coating on my tongue, and I was doing some research on it. It's thrush or candida.
Right.
I don't know if they're all interrelated, so I thought I'll check with you on that as well.
Yeah, well, it's a great question. More often than not, VJ, when you're looking at any kind of white film on your tongue like that, it's very likely that you're dealing with some form of thrush, which is a single-cell bacteria, candida bacteria. It's not unusual. It's not uncommon. And because it is a single-cell bacteria, it is often very much involved either directly or indirectly in the skincare problem that you're dealing with. So a couple things. I would think something like maybe caprylic acid, CAPRYLIC, caprylic acid, which is a fatty acid from coconut oil, and it's antifungal. I'd recommend 3 of those a day. Obviously, your diet, you're going to be very, very careful about fermented foods, a lot of vinegars, a lot of yeasty breads and sugars and things of that nature. Cut way down on those fermented foods. That's very, very important. As far as the Jarrow product, I honestly don't remember what we were talking about at that time, and there were so many Jarrow products. Of course, Catherine Foley, who's a rep from Jarrow Formulas, off and on, so I'm not sure which one we brought up for you, but for your condition, I would recommend, just as you pointed out, the vitamin A, the zinc, and I think in this case, being very, very careful dietarily about getting rid of those fermented foods and getting the Solgar actually makes and so does Solaray, a caprylic acid, and take 3 of those a day.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Thank you so much. We've got Eddie on the phone from Randolph. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talks.
I was just wondering what your opinion was on a low glycemic lifestyle.
Well, I mean, it depends on who it is. In other words, I don't believe in one size fits all anything. So, we're all so different, so unique. Our needs are different. Our chemistries are different, Eddie. And for somebody who is perhaps trying to get some weight down, somebody who's trying to be very cautious about an inability to really process high glycemic or sugary foods for folks that are not familiar with the term glycemic, a lot of folks who don't understand this whole process, when sugar isn't efficiently utilized, it stores as fat. So it's really important for a lot of folks out there who are trying to get the weight down to be very, very careful about their high glycemic foods. Of course, preventing the onset of type 2 diabetes, for example, another important issue. So I think for those folks, it's really important. And in general, Eddie, I think it's important to make sure you at least qualify the nature of your glycemic foods. In other words, if you're going to eat rice, make sure it's brown rice, not white rice. If you can eat breads and cereals, obviously make sure they're whole grain products. So that's really 101. And again, depending on your needs, you may want to go the next step and just really whittle it down to one serving of high fiber starch a day. In other words, throughout the day you're eating basically lean protein like chicken, turkey, fish, baked or broiled, etc. And you're eating a lot of greens and salads and things of this nature, snacking on the low glycemic, low sugar fruits like an apple, a peach, a pear. But then when it comes to that starch, the comfort foods as we call them, the rice, potatoes, etc., you only get one serving a day, high fiber. And I think that's probably a great way to go for a good majority of folks out there.
Yeah, do you think that don't you think if in the perfect world everybody should live a low glycemic lifestyle?
Well, again, I'm reluctant to use that term everybody simply because I'm not a one-size-fits-all person. I think it's really important to know who you are and exactly what your specific needs are. But in general, Eddie, I would say that so many folks out there have glucose problems, have weight gain problems. We are an obese planet these days, unfortunately. So in a sort of general context, I'd say yes, but I wouldn't get beyond that.
He dropped off.
All right.
How about blueberries and strawberries, Mark?
My
favorite.
Blueberries and strawberries are not a high glycemic fruit. They're low sugar fruits are fine. That's what I was saying earlier. And again,
apple, peach, pear, blueberries.
You run into some problems when you get into things like raisins and you get into things like plums, even for example, and too many melons and all that stuff because those are really a high sugar, high glycemic fruits. And if you're
nectarines,
if you're doing nectarines are fine. One too many servings of those high sugar fruits, you can run into some problems, as you can with white flour products, etc. Again, our numbers here regarding nutrition questions about blueberries and strawberries or virtually anything you want to ask.
That's why I come.
That's why she's here. She's making her notes again this week. But anyway, in Boston and New England, 617-822-1969. Verizon wireless users, it is a toll-free call. Just dial pound 969. Of course, we are the Natural Health Show, and we're here taking your questions regarding health-related issues, nutrition-related issues, weight loss, and as Candida says, strawberries and blueberries.
I like those.
All right.
So you're going to be busy Thursday, so am I.
Yes, indeed. Thursday.
What are you doing?
Thursday at 8:10 in the morning, I will be in evidence on Fox 25's morning show, of course.
Exciting.
We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been discussing here this evening. To some extent, we're going to be talking Thursday morning about recent connections and recent studies connecting, I should say, vitamin D with depression, and remarkable studies indicating that we double our risk of serious depression by having very low, insufficient vitamin D levels. So very, very important stuff. And we should probably, I think as a nation, start tuning into the importance of some of these new vitamin D studies, vitamin D implications regarding are we getting enough, are our kids getting enough, like we said earlier. Very, very essential information for our young families out there. Again, a lot of the moms, a lot of the dads need to really know that these kids are not getting sufficient vitamin D. And one of the most important parts of that, Candida, is really it's not about the sun. I think, we have demonized the sun, and a lot of the new information is starting to say, look, it really comes down to the amount of omega-3 fats in our system. If our omega-6s are too high and our omega-3s are too low, that's when we run into problems with the sun because of the lack of receptivity to the sun's power, the sun's electrons. So when the sun is bombing us with the force of its electrons, if we have an ample supply of omega-3 fats like our ancestors did, no problems. But we run into very serious problems if we have a high concentration of omega-6 fats. We're going to talk about that in a moment or two.
That's why I think actually people should have like a blueprint of their own body. That's
Absolutely.
why I like Allotest Labs, because they really help
no question about it.
That one test, the IgG.
The IgG food allergy test, absolutely.
And they tell you you where you're weak, where you're strong.
There's no doubt about it. But again, I think in general, though, the picture here is we want a 1-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s. Omega-6 foods, a lot of the salad dressings, of course, margarine, mayonnaise, a lot of the snack foods that the kids get a hold of, the fast foods, even granola, veggie burgers in some cases. So there are healthy foods that actually have a very high concentration of these vegetable fats, omega-6s. Our ancestors didn't do that. We're doing that. So we're going to talk about that anyway on Fox 25 at 8:10 on Thursday morning. And what are you doing, pray tell, on Thursday?
Well, I'm going to be in Hull at the Clarion.
At the Clarion. That's a lovely place right on the water.
Oh, I love it. It's great. It's a nice resort. They have all sorts of different things there now. A spa, right on the beach. I have the South Shore's best psychic mediums that will be there.
Wow.
About 11 of them. Like Rita Berkowitz, Kathy Burke, Karen Polino.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Should be an awful lot of fun.
We're going to have the great ballroom there at the Clarion.
Right by the beautiful
be hanging out.
Mighty Atlantic.
And folks could come by for a reading.
So
we're filling up.
How can they find out about it?
Just on my website. It's myhealthylivingmag, MAG.com. And you could sign up for one of your favorite readers, Patty Sheets, Deb Wallace, Michelle Levangie.
Very nice. Well, we got John on the line, of course, from Worcester. And welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk here on the Natural Health Show. And you have a question for Candida, I believe.
What? Well, I have a question about Candida.
Oh, about Candida. Oh, gee, all right, close enough. No,
I can answer any question that you know. I'm kidding.
Go ahead, fire away.
Well, I was looking for the best herbal supplements, or even if you have a recommendation for actually drugs to kind of destroy Candida albicans. And I've been kind of looking into it a little bit. It seems like something really hard to basically to kill. It's hard to kill it without basically giving up. It's funny when I turn the radio on and you were talking about blueberries and strawberries, the two fruits you can kind of eat on that diet.
Yep.
In moderation. And you said white flour, which you have to stay away from. So that's what I thought you were talking about.
No, listen, it is really about food first. That's the important part. So as we said to the earlier caller, you got to be careful about the processed sugars and, of course, the yeasty breads and baked goods. And you got to be really careful about the fermented foods, obviously, beer, wine, champagne. I always tell folks you're better off to do distilled alcohol if you're really fighting a Candida thing. Not that I'm trying to encourage everybody turning into a lush here, but, distilled is different than fermented. That's the key. You want to get rid of yeasts in the body. You got to get away from the fermented foods and the sugars. That's really essential. And then in terms of an herb that you asked about, I think there's a Brazilian rainforest herb that's pretty easy to get over the counter called pau d'arco, P-A-U-D-A-R-C-O, pau d'arco. And I think it's real effective. You need to take about 4 of those caps a day. Being careful with the diet, you should be in good shape.
The pau d'arco is pretty good. I mean, I've seen all kind of things out there. See, you talk about this, people hear yeast and they think of women. But a lot of people, everybody has a certain amount of this in their body.
Well, 60% of the female population has overgrowth and 40% of the male population. So we're all encountering it because of the nature of our cultural eating patterns. We're very high in the glycemic sugar realms. We're very high in the alcohol and a lot of the processed foods. We're always in a hurry. We're grabbing a starch that's a real fast food, like a lot of the cereal bars and things like that. And those are pretty yeasty kind of choices for all intents and purposes. The anti-yeast kind of diet would be, to have like egg whites more at breakfast and lunch and dinner, and have more lean proteins and greens. Now, most folks just aren't doing that, but that's the key to not feeding that bacteria called yeast. And the key really is to starve it out, and that's the diet that you'd want to embrace.
But pau d'arco, just over the counter, just the capsules.
Yeah, you'll have to use 4 a day. Again, you're going to probably have to give it a patient 90-day period to work with it, and be pretty strict with that diet, that it'll work.
There's no other way to avoid the diet thing, or you got to do the diet?
Unfortunately,
that's it.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think it's all about food. It really and truly is. There's no way to kill this stuff and then cultivate it at the same time. You have to convince your biochemistry to be an unfriendly environment, and that takes some cultivation. Sorry to do it to you. Anyway, I guess he dove off, and we're going to take a short little break here. And this is, of course, the Natural Health Show. You're on 96.9 Boston Talks. We'll be right back.
Severin says.
You guys are clear for 4 minutes.
You want to be real happy I went into radio and not government? If I were a judge, if you came before me and you hurt somebody because you were high or drunk or texting behind the wheel, I would throw you in a dank hole for 20 years.
Oh, sorry about that. I should have cleaned that up.
Afternoons 2 to 6, 96.9 Boston Talks.
Anyone who knows me knows that I don't believe in one-size-fits-all approaches to dieting and nutrition. We all have uniquely different chemistries and metabolisms that must be expertly understood in order for us to attain maximum health results. I believe the same holds true for fitness training. Being cattle-prodded through some cookie-cutter fitness program is never going to get you lasting results. That's why when it comes to fitness training, I recommend Fitness Together. At Fitness Together, you'll receive personalized one-on-one training geared to you and you alone. Fitness Together owner Steve Lichtman has told me personally that he's dedicated to the vision of holistic, personalized training programs that really work because they're tailored to each individual's specific needs. Want to get your fitness act together? Want to experience a truly holistic approach to fitness training? Call my good friend Steve Lichtman at 781-572-1002 or log on to getfitnessresults.com. That's Fitness Together for your personalized map to fitness success.
Go to the Healthy Living Expo in North Andover on Sunday, September 12th from 10 to 4 at Stevens Estate for a healthy dose of self-exploration and fun. Explore acupuncture, chiropractic, yoga, readings, healing, jewelry, nutrition.
We'll do it the way you guys have been doing it because you took your first break at 5 past and at 20. So we'll do the show the way we've been doing it.
Millions who have chosen chiropractic care for pain relief.
Yeah, what I can do, so because you guys have been doing it this way and I don't want to screw up what you do, what I'll do is after Candida segment, I'll make that a short break where I'll just play your guys' spots, and then I'll move our local spots to the last break, so we end the show a little bit like, the show comes back earlier for the last segment and ends a bit earlier.
Because at Karen Family Chiropractic, a healthy spine
so
is a happy spine.
we'll the next break will be at 37 like it normally has been. I'll get rid of all that, and then the last break will be at like 57.
The website is myhealthylivingmag.com. It's the Healthy Living Expo, Sunday, September 12th at the Stevens Estate in North Andover.
Hi, this is Catherine from Jarrow Formulas. We can be found on the web at jarrow.com, JARROW.com. Jarrow is a leading manufacturer of dietary supplements. We offer over 300 vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and probiotics. At Jarrow, our mission is to provide superior nutrition and formulation. We team with industry leaders and top academic researchers to bring you quality you can depend on. This is exactly why we have partnered with Mark Mincola. Mark brings cutting-edge science and education to his listeners and clients, and we are proud to be part of his team. We look forward to bringing you more information about specific products over the year with Mark and exciting topics. You can buy Jarrow Formulas at a health food store near you. Find out more about Jarrow at jarrow.com. That's JARROW.com.
Thank you, Boston! Let me introduce the band. Our hostess, Doreen!
Table for two. Check 1, 2.
At the drive-thru, Mike! On the grill, Jim! Are you ready for tonight's specials?
It's not just for concerts. Restaurants like Dunkin' Donuts and the Cheesecake Factory also welcome American Express, so you can earn rewards on all your purchases when you use your card.
Who wants curly fries?
Not all card issuers offer rewards programs. Individual terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
We've reached our cruising altitude, so sit back and relax. Pillows and blankets are available for your comfort. We also have beautiful shower curtains and other home accessories. Plus, today only, special offers in our shoe department. Thank you, and enjoy your flight.
It's not just for airlines. Stores like JCPenney and H&M also welcome American Express, so you can earn rewards on all your purchases when you use your card.
Attention passengers, not all card issuers offer rewards programs. Individual terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
Alrighty, welcome back. Here, just a couple quick tidbits before we get back to your calls. We got Michelle and Cindy coming up on the lines in just a minute or two here. But ideally, our omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, or I should say 6 to 3 ratio, is 1 to 1. The average American is 15 to 1, omega-6 to omega-3. So the key really here is even in 2000, there was a publication in the journal Cancer Research saying how important it was for us to maintain a proper 6 to 3, omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, and that there are 16 different cancer risks that are eliminated by doing so. And also, recently, the National Academy of Sciences said that was really essential to prevent skin cancer, very specifically. So, when you think about the top 4 omega-6 fats, safflower oil per tablespoon is 151% omega-6, grapeseed oil, 142% omega-6, wheat germ, 112% omega-6, and corn oil, 109% omega-6. So obviously,
Now, I know when you put these on salads, they're great, but when you cook with them, do they lose their properties or?
Well, they do, but I think, again, the most important thing here is we need folks to start laying off of some of those foods that really drive up our omega-6 ratios and really eliminate this one-to-one desired ratio that protects us from the potential dangers of the sunlight. And once again, things like margarine, forget about it. Too much mayonnaise, salad dressings, snack foods that are a lot of the crackers and things like that the kids eat. Certainly fast foods. Really important to cut way down on those things and to really be careful from the perspective of getting those omega-6s driven up too high. And obviously taking fish oil capsules. We've talked about for kids, there's such a wonderful product out there, the Nordic Naturals, of course, making the chewables, the fruit flavors, the tasty, yummy kind of fish oil snacks. That's so important for kids nowadays because, again, they're not getting outside. They're getting too covered up. We also wanted to mention a really important skin sunscreen
that I
for
use.
kids.
Yeah, the Badger.
The Badger. It's
and
great
they're
stuff.
right in New Hampshire, actually.
That's right. They're from New Hampshire. It's a real safe sunscreen, and Good Health Natural Foods, of course, carries them, so that's a really important point as well. All right, we've got Michelle on the line from Acton. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talks. You are on the Natural Health Show.
Hi, I have severe dry eye, and my eyes are constantly sore and causes me headaches a lot of the time. I'm taking flax oil, and it's helped a little bit, but I was wondering if there's anything else, because I'm still in a lot of pain every day. So,
well, the reason the flax oil helps, Michelle, is because it's an omega-3, of course, like we've been saying here, which means it's an anti-inflammatory. And dry, hot eyes like that are, of course, part of an inflammatory expression. So, how much of the oil are you taking? You're taking flax, I think you said, right?
Yep, I'm taking the liquid. So it's 2 tablespoons, I think, or 1/4. Trying to think of I think it's 7 grams.
Yes, but in terms of what you're downing down the hatch here, are you using a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons? What are you using?
I believe it's 2 tablespoons. Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty good dose. I would suggest that you add some fish oil to that to complete that omega-3 cycle. So I'd recommend that you just get some fish oil capsules, 1,000 milligrams, and just take 2 of those a day to add to your flax oil. And finally, be careful about anti-inflammatory from the food perspective. You want to avoid the inflammatory foods. So if you're eating a lot of egg yolks, a lot of dairy products, yes, even yogurt, if you're using a lot of red meat, if you're using a lot of peanuts or peanut butter, you want to steer clear for those. Do a 3-week experiment avoiding those things as much as you can, if not altogether, and doing some substitutions. For the peanut butter, you substitute soy nut butter. For the regular milk, the cow's milk, you substitute soy milk. You substitute poultry and fatty fish for the red meats. Try that for about 2 or 3 weeks and see if that doesn't help a lot as well.
Okay, and the soy is, I've heard back and forth that the soy is really bad for you, causing a lot of cancers and things like that, but soy is okay, you think?
Well, listen, first of all, for 3 weeks, it's not going to hurt anybody. Secondly, I don't ascribe to that. I think that what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with, if there's an allergenesis that you express with the soy, if it causes loose stools and stomach upset, then you probably want to steer clear from it in general. But as long as it's well tolerated and your body seems to respond positively, you're talking about a 2.0 alpha hydroxyesterone, which is good soy. It antagonizes bad soy, and I don't ascribe to that idea that it's dangerous stuff. That's just the way I feel about it. Again, you might just do a little 2 or 3 week experiment nonetheless and just see how the anti-inflammatory support works out for you.
Great, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
All right, let's see.
They have those natural tears too. That some of them are. I've seen them at Good Health. Are there natural ones that you could use also?
Yeah, no. I think that what I would recommend is I'd recommend working it from within your chemistry, not just topically like that.
To get some relief.
Yeah. Well, I think it won't take long though. I don't think it'll take long at all. Pat from Westford, welcome to the Natural Health Show. You are on 96.9 Boston Talks.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Go ahead.
Yes, I was wondering what's a good supplement for cardiomyopathy?
Cardiomyopathy?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to refer you to a wonderful book by Stephen T. Sinatra, just like spelled like Frank Sinatra, Sinatra. And he's a wonderful metabolic cardiologist who's written 2 fantastic books on the topic of metabolic cardiology, breakthrough stuff, revolutionary stuff. You'll learn a tremendous amount there. But in general, one of the things I'd recommend would be CoQ10, the enzyme CoQ10, which we talked about last week, and I'd recommend ubiquinol, which is the reduced, more absorbable form. I'd recommend 100 to 200 milligrams a day of ubiquinol. I'd also recommend something along the lines of GPLC, some form of carnitine, C-A-R-N-I-T-I-N-E. Carnitine is an amino acid. Again, it's going to help you with regard to lipid metabolism, so I'd recommend that. And finally, you hear me all the time talk about magnesium on this program. So there's a wonderful Jarrow formula product called Magnesium Optimizer, and 2 of those a day would get it done. Or, the Natural Calm, which is a great magnesium citrate powder, which I like to recommend as well. So those are the 3 most important that I'd recommend.
I got one other question, and if it's all right.
Sure.
I take water pills. You know what they are, right?
Sure.
Now, I was at the doctor's I was in the hospital for 3 or 4 days, and they had me on some liquid, and I didn't have a reaction to it. But as soon as I got back on my pills again, like my feet and my muscles and all my joints were sore.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that what you probably should do is you should probably discuss that with your physicians. But I think in terms of your nutrition, of course, it's really important that you're very careful about the amount of sodium that you take in. Commercial foods, of course, are very sodium rich. Pretty easy to have that sodium kind of sneak up on you.
Okay.
And your body, our bodies only need 500 milligrams of sodium a day to be replenished, and the average American is taking anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000 a day. So there's too much sodium in the food. You want to make sure you're eating more whole food, more fruits and vegetables. Get that potassium in naturally. That magnesium should make a big difference.
Okay, I'll get on the fruit and see what happens.
Absolutely. Good luck to you. Take care of yourself. And
thank you very much for the information.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we got to take a short little breather here because I know we've got Cindy and Jennifer and Pat, a couple folks we're going to speak with on the line here, but Candida has an interesting guest we're going to be speaking with in just a moment. So we're going to take a short little break and be right on back. Stay tuned to The Natural Health Show. We'll be right back.
Ready when you are. Online and on demand. 969bostontalks.com.
If you're like me, then you believe that it's important to create a healthy living environment. I believe that home surroundings are as vital to a healthy lifestyle as sound nutrition. My good friend Bill Hall is the owner and founder of Landscaping by Hall. His unmatched landscaping skills have been helping residents throughout the greater Boston area to create and maintain healthy living environments for nearly 30 years now. Landscaping by Hall specializes in customized design, retaining walls, walkways, patios, living privacy barriers, decks, and property makeovers. Bill Hall is not only a real pro, he's a quality guy who's truly interested in helping you to attain your goals and visions for a healthier, more beautiful living environment. Bill's approach to landscape design is a holistic one, and that's because Bill's approach to life is a truly holistic one. So, whether you're interested in a simple landscape maintenance or a complete property makeover, I urge you to contact my friend Bill Hall. That's Landscaping by Hall at 617-696-5515 or log on to hallscape.com for a healthier, more beautiful living environment.
Are you stressed? Do you have aches and pains? Do you suffer from anxiety, headaches, insomnia, or eczema? Try BC Essentials aromatherapy oils. Essential oils are a safe, easy, and effective way to treat common ailments naturally. BC Essentials Aromatherapy is a local company that uses only therapeutic-grade essential oils in all their products. Essential oils absorb quickly into the body and circulate to eliminate harmful toxins, treat pain, and balance stress and hormone levels. BC Essentials carries custom blend soaps, lotions, soy candles, sugar scrubs, bath salts, and beautiful gift sets. They've even got a line specifically for young children. BC Essentials uses only the best ingredients, no harmful preservatives, sulfates, parabens, or artificial fragrance, and they're completely nut-free. Call Beverly at BC Essentials today to discuss your own specific needs. 781-983-0304 or log on to bcessentials.com. Place an order now, and BC Essentials will include a free lip balm. 781-983-0304. bcessentials.com.
96.9 Boston Talks is proud to present Candida, editor and publisher of Healthy Living magazine. Find out about the who, what, where, and when of New England's health and wellness community on 96.9 Boston Talks. Now, here's Candida.
All right, how's everyone doing out there? WTKK. You could also check out my magazine online at www.myhealthylivingmag.com. I hope to see a lot of you at our Angel Fest that we're doing in Hull. You can find out a lot of information. This is so fitting that I have good friend Joanna Silverman with us in studio today. She is the owner of Nourishing the Peas and the Pod. And God, when I think of the processed food, I see it as being like dead. I don't even see it really as being food, because all the energy, everything is just like sucked out of it. I can't even imagine people eat it still, but they do.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get away from it because a lot of it is comfort food for people, and there's an emotional connection to food, and it's important that we remember that when we're talking to people. And
I have to remember that. I shouldn't be so judgmental.
And it's confusing too. I mean, you look at the front of packaging and it's giving you different messages. And let's be honest, you're a mom, I'm a mom. You have your child at the grocery store, you want to get in and you want to get out. Right. And I mean, it really is confusing. Low in fat, high in sugar, no hydrogenated oils. But then you look at the back and it's loaded with sugar. So I
think that's the key. You have to look at the back. Because some of the stuff says natural, and then you turn it over and the one key ingredient is like corn syrup.
Or natural ingredients. What is that?
What is that?
That's a good one. If it's so natural, why did you not write it down?
So I like your 5 enemy things. Talk about that.
Yeah, I have, because I think it's really difficult. But if you stay away from what I like to call the 5 public enemies, you're basically staying away. Because we could be here all day talking about what's added into food. But so the first one is hydrogenated oil. And that's a big one. That'll keep you away from a lot of the processed food. And
now, does it say hydrogenated oil? Or
it does.
Specific?
And a lot of them will say no hydrogenated oils. I mean, in my world, food is a live food. But if you're going to go into the area of buying a more processed food, which means it's been changed or altered, you have to be very careful of the hydrogenated oil. And when I think people don't understand, and this is what I had my aha moment when I stayed away from hydrogenated oil.
It's really in the middle sections of the supermarket, too.
It is.
You stay away from those sections.
Yeah, that's kind of hard, too, because sometimes they place the stuff you want in the middle so that, you're walking by all these packages your children are seeing. But the hydrogenated oil, it actually hurts the system because your cells take it in as a fat, but then they don't know what to do with it. So it hurts absorption of good nutritional value, of good fats. And a lot of times you'll see the kids with like what I like to call chicken skin. It's the bumps on the back of the arms or like on the cheeks. And that's an EFA deficiency. And that can be caused by having too much hydrogenated oil.
Wow, so that's number one.
So that's number one. Right now, for me, number 2 is the BHT and BHA. It's a preservative, and you'll find it in a lot of the kids' cereals. And the problem with this is it's okay in small amounts. So, what is a small amount? Is that having 1 sugar cereal a week? And it's in so much of our food that our kids are getting more than a small amount. And right now it's being looked at for causing cancer. And if you turn the back package and you look at any of the sugary cereals, it's in there.
So it's BHT
and BHA.
And BHA. And it's just like that in those initials.
Yeah. Okay. Because you look at and that's the other thing. If you don't know what it is not food. It's not food. If you can't pronounce it, if it wouldn't, and I think I've said this to you before, if it's not in your grandmother's cabinet, it's not food.
Well, the reason why it's a processed food is because what they're really trying to do is they're removing the life out of it, and they're filling it with these things that will keep it on the shelves longer.
Right.
Because if it's a whole fruit, it will go bad.
It will go bad.
So we'll put something in it to keep it on the shelf a little bit longer.
And they also are taking the coloring in food. A lot of children are sensitive to that, not everybody, but they have to put the coloring in the food because they've taken all the life out of it, and so it has no eye appeal. So we'll just throw blue color something in there so that your body says, oh, that looks good, because if it didn't have the coloring, you wouldn't eat it.
Right.
So that's an important part of the coloring. So and so then did I do 2? So now 3. Aspartame is the third one. Aspartame is known to be a neurotoxin. The FDA actually has 92 side effects for aspartame. So the FDA is recognizing, which that should say something. 92 side effects.
What are some of the sugars that have that?
The aspartame, that's in a lot of your diet stuff. No sugar added. Those popsicles that people think are great because they have no sugar added to them. Yeah, so you'll find the aspartame in there. And some people have such an adverse reaction to aspartame that they run to the bathroom as soon as they have it. So they're lucky enough their body says no right away. But then, unfortunately, some people have more subtle reactions to it.
Yeah, I see danger when I see that in the ingredients. I stay away from that at all costs. Yeah.
I mean, I actually grabbed a piece of gum from someone the other day, and as soon as I put it in my mouth,
you can taste it.
Yeah, you can taste when you're away from it. You can taste it, but some people really actually crave it, and you'll go through aspartame withdrawal. A lot of people will talk about that from diet sodas, or if they use Sweet and Low, that type of product.
That's it, Sweet and Low, right?
Sweet and Low, yeah.
Stay away from that.
To mention those products.
Yeah, we can.
I always wonder that when I'm on.
You just did.
I did. Mark told me to do it. And so then the other one that I think every once in a while people think it's okay, but soda's really harmful for kids.
Absolutely.
Because it takes away, again, the nutrients. It sucks the nutrients out of the child, including zinc, potassium, calcium. So we're also worried about the calcium intake, and yet we're letting our children drink soda. So soda's one to stay away from.
Empty calories for that matter too.
It really
is. It gets them full on the junk, and then they won't eat some of the.
And then this time of year, giving it to them, and your body is so dehydrated. And when your body's dehydrated, your immune system's down. So it's really important to stay away from the sodas. And then.
That's great. I feel like putting you in the cabinet. Like when I open the cabinet, I say, Joanna, what should we have today? Yeah. We should have a little Joanna in our...
Yeah, well, that's why sometimes I'll actually go grocery shopping with people, because it's easier to say, this is a safe product, this is a safe product, this is a safe product. Because, I know what to grab.
You need to do a video and put it up on your website of you taking somebody into the grocery store for 10 minutes. Edit it right down.
I think that would be
wonderful.
This
is a good product. Because there are products you can trust, too, that are more, the more processed, not processed, but... like Erewhon. I love Erewhon cereals. Like, you can trust when you're getting a cereal from them that it's got good stuff in it.
Right.
So, that brand in general. So, those are my public enemies.
That's
5
good
public
information.
enemies.
Are you doing any kind of workshops or seminars that people should be
I've been
aware of
taking
right now?
Actually, I am. I'm doing a first baby food class for the Boston Public Education. So that's on Thursday, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday.
So you're making homemade baby food?
Homemade baby food, and the importance of keeping the child's palate to what you would eat. We serve them foods. We have this idea, and I talk about this all the time, that there's such thing as kid food. And if you want them to eat the food that you're eating, that's what you need to be giving them.
Right. So no funny-shaped chicken nuggets anymore.
Well, Bell and Evans has adopted funny-shaped chicken nuggets. So if you want to go and, there is always a better choice to the vice.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that is a better choice.
Makes sense.
So if you go in the direction of meat. So yeah, there's my public enemy 5.
I love it. How could folks find you? What's your website, phone number, all that good stuff?
So it's the www. I learned that from somebody on the radio. NourishingThePeasInThePod.com.
Peas with an S.
Yes, and I still have the recipe up for the calcium chips.
Those are so yummy.
Oh, did you try them?
Yes, and my kids love them too.
Yeah, kids will eat them, and they're
great.
kale. I mean, people always say my child won't eat kale, and sometimes...
So tell us quickly about them. What are they? Kale chips?
They're kale chips, and you cook them with olive oil, and I put nutritional yeast on the top, so it kind of gives it a little bit of a cheesy flavor, and sesame seeds.
So you just buy the kale,
wash it,
spread it apart, dry
put it in the olive oil, lay it on the baking sheet, you put it in at about 350 for 5 minutes on one side, and flip it 5 minutes on the other side, and then when it comes out, you put the nutritional yeast on it. Oh, and the sesame seeds go when you cook, so it gets a little crunchy.
You know what? I switched it. I have the spray bottle from Pampered Chef, and I actually spray on the olive oil.
See, if you like it light, that would be kale chips light. I like them drenched in the oil. Give me the good fat.
Oh, Joanna, thank you so much for being here. It's always so much fun to have you on.
Great
Again,
advice.
the website is nourishingthepeasandthepod.com. And you're a health counselor, is that?
And an educator,
And an educator. Excellent. Well,
Educator first, health counselor second.
Excellent. Mark, I guess we're going to throw it back to you. We have some callers that are on the line.
Well, we do a couple things we were going to mention here too. In fact, Joanna, we were talking during the last break about the the proper kind of protection with your children, and of course you work so hard with your kids. Same thing, but the time of day. So very important. We're talking about UVB. The UVB helps produce vitamin D. The best form of vitamin D is vitamin D3. It's called calciferol. And that's produced from vitamin UVB exposure, I should say sunlight UVB exposure. Mm-hmm. And UVB during midday is actually at its highest. So the good rays, if you will, that help you produce the most vitamin D and protect your body from all those dread diseases is actually highest at midday.
See, my parents used to take me, and we would leave at 12 because that was the bad.
That was the scary.
So that's why it's so important to bring this up. That here's the key: is that so many folks think early in the day and later in the day you're safer to be exposed. We're only talking about 10 minutes of exposure and indirect. Okay, 10 minutes of indirect, so you could be well covered up. just throwing a Frisbee out in the backyard for 10 minutes. It doesn't take a whole lot. But you want to be out there during midday to get the UVB. We're not telling you to go out there and to drench yourself in sunlight for 4 hours, from 10 to 2. Mm-hmm. We're saying that during that noonday sun, that's when you're getting the UVB. Unfortunately, the early and the latter part of the day, you're getting UVA. That's the penetrating, damaging rays that do not allow you to assimilate and absorb the wonderful vitamin D manufacturing.
That's great information. You had us both stumped. I said the early evening, and Joanna said the early morning. You quickly wanted to just mention a couple of supplements for kids if they weren't for the process, if they were eating a lot of processed food. A couple.
Actually, what I wanted to say about that is, I think, and Mark, I think maybe you'll agree with me on this one too, is that a lot of people feel like, well, if I give my child a vitamin, it doesn't matter what they're eating, and it's coming from the food. The food is the main source for absorption, and so it would be sort of like me saying I'm on a diet because I have diet soda, but yet I eat cheeseburger and cheesecake. It really comes from the food. You can sprinkle all the supplements you want.
Well, and
it's
that's
not
why
going to matter.
I always remind people of that word supplementation.
Exactly.
You are supplementing your diet, and there'll never be more than a supplement.
Or your favorite motto that you're known for: food is medicine.
Food is medicine.
I love
you
that.
got it, baby.
Yeah, no matter what we do, we'll never know what's in a carrot. How many? I mean, we could pull it apart, but there's something in carrots that is good for our body that we cannot take out in pieces.
Absolutely true. The foods are loaded with medicinal supports, and that's really what it's all about. It's all food related. Hey, we're going to take a short little break, Joanna. Great segment. Thank you so much for that great information. And we'll be right back with the Natural Health Show in these few moments about to come forth. Stay tuned to these messages.
Play it again. Audio on demand. Podcasting now at 96.9 BostonTalks.com.
You guys are clear for 1 minute.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. We've been researching natural health, beauty, and anti-aging products for years, looking for the purest and most effective ingredients in the world. We know that nature is a powerful source for everything healing. There are just so many products out there, it can be overwhelming. Now we've discovered the holistic, non-invasive solution to aging gracefully. The brand is called Nubian Heritage. It's a family of products created with organic raw shea butter, vitamin E, green tea, and pure essential oils. And I've got to tell you, you can actually feel the difference. You'll see a dramatic change in the texture and clarity of your skin. These luscious blends thoroughly hydrate and may actually heal and correct skin damage. It's real and it's available at Good Health in Quincy and Hanover. To learn more about Nubian Heritage and all our wholesome products, visit goodhealthnaturalfood.com. All natural, age-defying remedies so you can feel great and never look your age. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Now, back to the Natural Health Show, sponsored by Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover.
All right, once again, our number in Boston, 617-822-1969. Verizon Wireless users, lucky guys. It's a toll-free call. Just dial pound 969 in case you have a little question or two regarding anything we've discussed, vitamin D, any vitamins, any minerals, herbs, weight loss, etc. But real key points here. We have some suggestions just to kind of round out the main theme that we've been weaving with this evening. And, of course, the main topic is vitamin D. Are our kids getting enough? Research says no. 70% of our kids are vitamin D deficient. And when you consider the fact that vitamin D influences over 2,000 genes in our body, and it's been associated with, of course, deficiencies associated with bone disease, over 16 different cancers, including breast, colon, endometrial, esophageal, ovarian, bladder, gallbladder, gastric, pancreatic, prostate, rectal, renal, etc., non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, on and on. So, how important is it? Hypertension, diabetes, autoimmune disease, asthma, heart disease, depression. Vitamin D is the guy. It's the big guy here. So,
or the lady,
or the big gal, if you will. But it's really important to make sure that these kids are getting their fair hit of vitamin D. And one of the most important parts of that is, I think, the proper sunscreening. Again, Badger is the sunscreen that we're talking about recommending. Also, Nordic Naturals fish oils. Those Nordic Naturals fish oils, and certainly vitamin D can be purchased, vitamin D3 can be purchased in supplement form. So the three recommendations would be the Badger sunscreen, the Nordic Naturals fish oils, because, again, getting your omega-3s up is really key to helping you protect yourself when you're out there for 10, 15 minutes in the middle of the day. And, of course, vitamin D in and of itself is really an important suggestion. Again, kids don't need much more than probably 800 units. Adults, 1 to 2,000 units. We've got, let's take a call here. Holly on the line from Haverhill. Welcome to 96.9 Boston Talk. You're on the Natural Health Show.
Hey, how are you?
Terrific. How are you?
Good. I love your show. I hope it stays on forever.
Aren't you so nice? Thank you.
My sister is younger than me. She's 26.
Yep.
She's been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. I see her suffering every day, even though she's on medicines. And, I'm kind of switched over the past few years more towards natural health. I'd like to help her or influence her. My family's very old-fashioned and very, go to the pharmacist kind of people.
Yep.
I heard you recommend a book to somebody. I thought maybe if I could get her a book or suggest some good supplements for that. I just hate seeing her swollen and
right. Yes.
She's a get up and go kind of person, and her body is not allowing it, and I'm scared for her future.
Well, here's what I'd recommend. There's a book by Paul Pitchford, Pitchford. It's a real good nutrition book, and it's an East-West nutrition book. But the bottom line of the Pitchford book is there's a great section in there about inflammation and anti-inflammation from the dietary perspective. There's great graphs and explanations, and the real key, lupus is an inflammatory disease. Things like red meat, things like peanuts, things like egg yolks, things like dairy products really should be taken off the diet program because those are very high pro-inflammatory foods from an eicosanoid perspective. Eicosanoids are basically like super hormones, if you will, that really produce inflammatory responses in the body. So we're actually in a time glitch here, so I'm sorry to rush you on that, but that would be my recommendation. I'd highly recommend that Pitchford book, Holly, and that section in there is really a superb section regarding anti-inflammatory support for somebody like lupus that wants to get some natural support along the way. So,
and I would also recommend Mark Mancola has books out also at Good Health Natural Foods where they carry.
Nice? Maximum Healing is a book that talks about inflammatory response and pH as well, and I think those are definitely books that will steer you in the right direction. No question about that.
That's right.
And you know what? This time kind of flies by, does it not? So don't forget, you've got an event coming up. Yes,
it does. Thursday evening, 6:30 to 10:30 at the Clarion in Hull. It's an evening of spirit communication. We have about 11 readers from the South Shore, so we're so excited.
Great stuff.
Up next is Right Turn Radio with Woody and Abby, and they had a fantastic
Stay tuned
show
for them
last week.
I listened last week. I really enjoyed. Great show.
I know. I sat in my driveway when I got home. I had to finish it up.
Excellent show. And also, I'll be doing. First of all, let folks know how they can get in touch with your event.
It's www.
I like that.
myhealthylivingmag.com. And actually, Healthy Living has hit the stands, and we're out there now at Good Health Natural Foods.
Very nice.
So pick up your copy.
Good work.
And good luck on Fox on Thursday.
I'll be on Fox on Thursday at 8:10, the morning show. And of course, we're going to be talking a little bit more about vitamin D and depression. Some really interesting studies regarding vitamin D and depression, doubling the risk for serious depression with shortages of vitamin D. So
1 minute.
We'll talk about that and other various goodies. And of course, we want to thank John Parker and Brett Miguez, who've gotten us through this program, per usual. And each and every week, of course, we are here, and you can check podcasts of this particular broadcast out anytime on our website, www.maxhealing.com. So you go to that website, you can check out podcasts, and of course we'll be back here with you each and every Sunday starting next Sunday. And until that time, this is Mark Mancola reminding you all, please be wise, be aware, be well, make it a healthy week. Good night.
96.9 WT